Hello and welcome back to For You. That's Nikki.
I'm Nikki, and that's Reese.
And I'm Reese. And we're back for day 2 of our article about America's toughest prison and how 3 men maybe escaped from it. It's a super interesting story. So yesterday we learned the history of Alcatraz prison.
It's an island.
Where is it?
It's in the U.S., San Francisco Bay.
Yes, in the San Francisco Bay. So the bay is kind of more like a river, actually, that flows kind of through San Francisco. And the water there is super dangerous.
Super cold.
Super cold, super rough. So if you fall in, it's going to be really hard for you to escape. But 3 men from Alcatraz prison, they tested their luck. They were like, we're going to risk it. We're going to jump into the water and see if we can swim to the city.
We're going to make fake heads.
Fake heads with real
human hair.
Ugh. Do you think they survived?
I think they probably didn't.
Well, that's a question we might still have at the end of the article because nobody's really sure. Let's find out more by diving into day 2 of how 3 men escaped from America's toughest prison.
Reading.
How 3 men escaped from America's toughest prison. Within 2 days, the police found several items, including wooden paddles and a homemade life vest. Nobody could find the men, though. However, we soon worked out how they had escaped. The men had widened holes below their sinks with spoons. They had secretly set up a workshop. Every night, they would sneak out through the holes to enter it. That's where they made a small boat to escape with. The FBI claimed the men had drowned while trying to swim to safety. However, their bodies have still never been found. In 2013, the police received a strange letter. It claimed to be from John Anglin. It said that he had cancer and that he would trade another year in prison for medical care. It also said that Clarence died in 2008 and that Morris died in 2005. Sadly, no one could tell if the letter was really from John Anglin. So, to this day, no one really knows if the 3 men survived.
Okay, so today's article begins by carrying on from where we left off yesterday. It says, within 2 days, the police found several items, including wooden paddles and a homemade life vest. Okay, within is a preposition, and within means inside of. We can use it to talk about space or distance. For example, within the walls of this house, my mum makes all the rules. Or, the park is within 2 kilometers of the school. So those all mean inside of. The article uses within to talk about time, though. Within 2 days or within the next 30 minutes.
课文一开始就说，在2天内，警察就发现了一些东西。Within 是介系词，指的就是在一段时间内，不能超过一个特定的时间。那除了用来表示一段时间内，我们也可以用 within 来表示一段距离之内。
And then we also saw the word including. Include is a verb, and to include means to contain or have one thing as part of a whole, as part of something bigger or more. If something is included, that thing is part of the thing you're describing. So, if you go to McDonald's and order a set meal, a drink and fries are included. The article talks about some items found by the police. The things they list, wooden paddles and a life vest, are included. That means those things were there, but there were other things too that they didn't mention. So here's an example sentence with including. My whole family, including my grandparents, will go on vacation to Greece this summer.
Including 是介系词，表示包含某个东西。For example, when I write a paper or a report, our professor will always ask us to write 15 pages, including references. 那 include 是动词，也是包含或是包括的意思。它的相反呢，就会变成 exclude， 意思就是排除或者是不考虑。For example, during this pandemic, we cannot exclude the possibility that a lot of people are asymptomatic. 例句说，我全家人，包含爷爷奶奶，都会在暑假的时候去希腊玩。
And then we also had the word wooden. Wooden, W-O-O-D-E-N, is an adjective, and wooden describes something made of wood. Wood comes from trees, and anything made mostly of wood can be described as wooden. So, for example, you could have a wooden toy, a wooden house, or a wooden table. Here's an example sentence. My grandmother lives alone in an old wooden cabin in the forest.
Wooden 是形容词，用来形容一个木头做的东西，一个木制品。Wood 就是它的名词，指的就是木头。那在这边课文提到的呢，就是木质的船桨。例句说，我奶奶一个人住在森林里的一栋老木屋。
So close to here where we're recording, actually, Nikki, we're in Dongmen in Taipei. There are some old Japanese houses close by, right? Just down the street.
Oh, yeah.
They're beautiful old wooden colonial houses, and they're very pretty. They're made of like an old brown wood. I'm not sure what kind of wood, but they're super nice. So those are wooden houses, and I'm looking at a wooden door right now. All right, we also have the words paddle and homemade. So paddle is a noun, but it can also be a verb. Paddle is a wooden stick with a flat part on the end that you use to move a boat through water. You put the paddle in the water and push the water away from you to move the boat forwards. Homemade is an adjective, and you can probably guess what this means. If something is homemade, it was made at home. More specifically, you didn't buy it from a store, you made it yourself. So you could make a cake yourself, it would be homemade. Or if your uncle helps you build a go-kart in your garage, that would be homemade too.
Paddle 在这边指的是名词，就是划船时候用的船桨。那它也可以当动词，当动词使用的时候呢，就会是用桨来划船的意思。或者是游泳的时候泼水，也可以说是 paddle。那再来 homemade 是形容词，顾名思义就是你在家里做的，你自己手工做的东西。For example, you can make some homemade cookies or some homemade videos.
Oh, when I was a kid, we used to love making homemade videos.
About what?
Just like me and my brothers and sisters just messing around. Yeah, maybe playing with our dog or something. Okay, back to the article, and it says that nobody could find the men, though. However, we soon worked out how they had escaped.
课文接着说，但是呢，却没有人可以找到这些逃犯。不过他们后来 they worked out how they had escaped， 意思就是说他们理解出、想出来他们是怎么办到的了。Work out 在这边指的就是想出来，知道是怎么回事。那 work out 另一个意思呢，可以说是运动、健身 ，like weightlifting or doing cardios can count as working out.
I've been working out more recently to try and be healthy. Okay, the article continues with, the men had widened holes below their sinks with spoons. What does that mean? Well, let's talk about the verb widen first. Widen means to make something wider. Wide, W-I-D-E, is an adjective which means something has a long or large width. That's when you measure the size of something across, from side to side, instead of from top to bottom. So when we talk about how tall somebody is, that's their height. But if you're talking about maybe how big somebody is from side to side, that would be their width. The verb to widen means to make something bigger when you measure it from side to side. The article talks about the prisoners digging holes and widening them. That means they make the holes bigger and fatter so that they can squeeze through them. Here's an example sentence for widen. We need to widen the hole in the wood first. It's not big enough for the screw to fit inside.
Widen 是动词，指的就是使某个东西变宽、加宽的意思。那 wide 这个字呢是形容词，意思是宽的。那它在它后面加了一个 suffix en， 指的就是会变得怎么样。For example, darken 是变黑，也是这样的用法。
We also had the word sink, which is a noun. So you might know the word sink as a verb, which means to kind of fall underwater, right? And maybe drown if you don't escape. Yeah, not fun. But here we're not talking about falling underwater. We're talking about a noun. A sink is a fixed basin in a kitchen or bathroom. That's where the taps or faucets are. A sink is a place where you wash your hands after using the bathroom, or a place where you wash your dishes and cups after dinner. An example sentence with the noun sink could be, Please put your dirty plates in the sink when you've finished eating.
Sink 是名词，在这边指的就是洗手台或是水槽，就是你洗碗或者是洗手的地方。那如果它当动词的时候呢，就会是沉入的意思 ，sink into the water。例句说，你吃完饭，请将你的脏碗盘放到水槽里。
Okay. The article continues by saying they had secretly set up a workshop.
Set up 在这边指的是设置或者是建立，他们建立了一个工作坊。那 set up 还有另外一个意思呢，会是栽赃。For example, we often see in the movies when the police found some drugs in a guy's bag, that guy would probably say, "That's not mine. I'm being set up."
This is a setup. Yeah. You know something interesting about the word set? I think this is true. Set is the word in the English language that has the most individual meanings.
Oh.
Yeah, it's got like 20, 30 different meanings or something depending on the context. A very difficult word to learn to use properly. Set up. Okay. We also saw the word workshop. A workshop is a place where you can use tools to make things, perhaps out of wood or metal or other materials. Workshop can also be a word to talk about a place or an event where people go to learn a particular skill. So workshops are usually for physical or practical skills. So you might have a workshop to learn how to build a table, or a workshop to learn some kind of dance.
Workshop 指的就是工作坊，可以是真的做东西的地方，像是我们小时候都会去做肥皂，或者是自己用纸浆做纸，那种都可以说是一种 workshop。那后来它就慢慢变成，其实不用真的去做什么东西，可能你今天想要学怎么写程式，那有人开了一堂课来教怎么写程式，那也可能是一种 workshop。
The article continues and it says that every night they would sneak out through the holes to enter it. That's where they made a small boat to escape with. Oh, sneaky. Let's talk about this word, sneak, S-N-E-A-K. It's a verb, and to sneak means to move quietly so that you're not noticed by other people. We might sneak when we don't want to be seen or heard. A criminal might sneak when they're trying to hide from the police. Or a naughty boy or girl might sneak in their house if they get home late and don't want to wake their parents.
Sneak 是动词，意思就是鬼鬼祟祟的移动，或者是偷偷的。那 sneak out 的意思就是偷偷溜出去，可能趁你爸妈在睡觉的时候偷偷跑出去找朋友，那就是 sneak out。那如果要偷偷溜进来呢，就会是 sneak in。
All right, back to the article. The FBI claimed the men had drowned while trying to swim to safety. So the FBI said that they had drowned. Drown is a verb, and to drown means to die underwater because you can't breathe. You have no oxygen. Swimming can be fun, but we should be careful because it can be quite easy to drown, especially in the ocean where the waves come crashing down. An example sentence could be, I nearly drowned in the sea when a huge wave pushed me underwater.
Drown 是动词，意思是溺水或者是溺死。So if you don't know how to swim, you're very likely to drown if you go deep into the sea. 那这篇课文就是说 FBI 的人宣称 Here the author uses the word claim. It means that they're not 100% sure about what they said. 那这边他们宣称这些逃犯在逃走的时候已经溺水死掉了。
Well, this next part of the article is the one that I find the most interesting. The article continues, However, their bodies have still never been found. In 2013, the police received a strange letter. It claimed to be from John Anglin, It said that he had cancer and that he would trade another year in prison for medical care. Is this real? We're not sure. Let's look at the word trade first. Trade is a verb, and to trade means to give something to somebody in return for something. You give them something and they give you something back. So countries trade with each other all the time. They trade things like oil, food, and technology. So to be a trade, there must be a transaction. That means both people must give and receive something. If only one person gets something, that's not a trade, that's a gift. When I was a kid, I used to love trading Pokemon cards with my friends.
I did that too.
Yeah, it's really fun, but sometimes the trades were not good.
They gave you fake ones.
Yeah, or just cards that weren't as good as the ones I gave them. An example sentence with trade could be, at the Apple Store, you can trade in your old iPhone to get a discount on a new model.
Trade 是动词，意思是交换或者是贸易。It's a lot like the word exchange, but the word trade often involves buying and selling. 那 trade 除了当动词之外呢，它也可以当名词，意思就是买卖或者是交换的意思，或者是一个 a business activity. 那如果我们说 trade A for B, 意思就是拿 A 来换 B. For example, I would say, I wouldn't trade my dog for the world. 意思就是就算给我全世界，我也不会拿我的狗去交换。
Aw, that's so sweet. I feel the same way about my cat. Okay, back to the article, and it's going to end here. It says, it also said that Clarence died in 2008 and that Morris died in 2005. Sadly, no one could tell if the letter was really from John Anglin. So, to this day, no one really knows if the three men survived. Such a mystery. I love the end of this story. Was the letter really from John Anglin, or was somebody just playing a prank? I guess we'll never know. So, the article ended by using the phrase, to this day. This phrase means up to today. From the time that it happened up to now, it's all true.
最后课文就告诉我们，后来他们收到一封信，里面说这些逃犯啊，不是得癌症，不然就是都死掉了。但是没有人可以确定这封信到底是不是真的是 John 写的，所以到今天为止，我们都还是不知道这三个人到底是死是活。To this day，指的就是到今天为止，至今，也就是说某件事情的发生到现在说出这句话的时间是如何的。
So I think even if these three did escape and they did survive, they would probably be dead by now because they would be old. So I think we'll never know the truth.
Yeah.
Did they escape? Did they survive? We never found their bodies.
Did they have cancer?
Yeah, all questions we will never know the answer to. Oh, the mysteries of life. Well, that's the end of our two-day article about the Alcatraz prison escape. You guys can go online and do some more research because it's a super interesting story. There are even documentaries and films about it. But for now, let's go to our For You chat question.
For You chat.
Okay, so the For You chat question. Do you think John Anglin should be allowed to go back to prison for only 1 year? Why or why not? So John said that if it really was John, he said that he was dying of cancer and that he was willing to give himself to the police. They can put him in prison for 1 year and they help him get better.
I think he should finish his sentence.
Right.
Not just 1 year.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
there were probably many years left on his sentence because Alcatraz was for prisoners who did really bad things.
Otherwise, he wouldn't escape. He wouldn't try to escape.
Yeah, so he's kind of trying to make a deal with the police here. But I mean, if you did a really bad crime and you escaped from prison, you should still do your time.
Yeah. And probably you having cancer is like karma.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what John's original crime was, but we can assume that it was very bad. Did he change, become a better person after escaping prison? It's impossible to say. What do you guys think? Do you think John should be allowed to trade 1 year in prison for some health care? Or do you think if they find him, they should throw him back into prison until he dies? An interesting story with not too many answers. That's all we have for this article. I'm Reese.
I'm Nikki.
And don't go to prison.
Be good.
Vocabulary Review.
Including. Allison received many gifts on her birthday, including a new bike and several books. Wooden. This wooden table is pretty heavy. Can you help me carry it? Widen. The city government is planning to widen the street in front of my grandma's house. This is to allow more cars to pass through. Sink. Dolly asked her son to put the dirty dishes in the sink after finishing dinner. Drown. A 7-year-old girl fell in the river and drowned. Trade. The rich man traded one of his expensive cars for a famous painting.
智慧小补帖
Paddle. Homemade. Workshop. Sneak.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作，活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net